There are a lot of unhappy lawmakers on Capitol Hill as details of the Wall Street bailout plan continue to emerge. One of them is Congresswoman Michele Bachmann, Republican from Minnesota, and she joins us now from Washington. Congresswoman, thank you so much for being with us. We appreciate it.
Good morning, Stuart. Thank you.
Now, I know that you want to offset the cost of this in all kinds of ways. I know that's what you want to do. I've read your press release. But I want to just ask you, the risk here is that no bailout goes through or that it's delayed and the financial markets fall off a cliff. Are you comfortable with the delay that's now in progress and the risk of a financial meltdown that we face? Are you comfortable with that level of risk?
You know, there's risk inherent in whatever Congress decides to do, Stuart. And what we're trying to do right now is amass all the information that we can. I came from a meeting this morning with the Federal Reserve Chair Bernanke and also with Secretary Paulson. Now I'm about to go off to my Financial Services Committee where we'll question them both before the committee. We have to have transparency because, after all, we're talking about the public money. This is the public trust. So we have two ways that we can look in this situation. One, we can raise capital by going into the pockets of the American taxpayer, or we could create a great business environment in the United States and create capital from investors coming into the environment.
Then at the end of the day, if you don't like the bill that's presented to you, would you take the risk and vote against it?
We have to find out, Stuart, what all is at risk and what we're looking at. We're still in the process. A lot of members of Congress are getting their PhD in high finance this week.
So
we're trying to find out what in the world is happening.
But it's a kind of brinkmanship, isn't it? I mean, you're going
Stuart,
right up to the brink here, right to the edge of the cliff, and you're hoping that...
But it's important for your viewers to know no one should be jumping off cliffs right now. No one should be raiding their money market accounts, raiding their banks. Everyone needs to just cool down a little bit, because if people just hold their heads, we're going to be fine. Because number one, this is a crisis of confidence. We still have all the assets that we had before. This is a crisis of confidence. Let's get our heads together, make the best possible decision we can, not one that we'll live to regret for 1 or 2 generations.
But I have to remind you of what happened around lunchtime, midday, last Thursday. The financial markets seized up. You couldn't get at your money in a money fund. Banks weren't circulating the money. You could go back to that situation in a moment's notice if the markets feel that you're dragging your feet and we might not get a deal on the table and signed, you know?
But the markets need to understand that we're the United States Congress. We represent the American people. And we just can't go ahead and turn the piggy bank upside down and say, here you go. Now you markets have access to the American people's $700 billion. This is real money. It's not monopoly money. We have to be good stewards of that money, recognizing, again, we're trying to get a whole picture on what's happening. But what we cannot do is put the public's treasure out into the markets and not demand reform. Congress created this problem. If we would have a zero capital gains rate, we would see capital flooding into the marketplace. We could do that. We need reform.
I'm going to interrupt you for 1 second because we have a development here, and I want you to listen in on it. It appears that the Republicans are now saying that they will accept some kind of limitation on executive pay in financial companies in which the government has taken a bailout stake. That we're just hearing that the Republicans have accepted this. They will accept it as part of the bailout bill. You very much in favor of that, Congressman?
We actually haven't seen that. We had a meeting this morning that didn't come up, so if there is some sort of a Republican acceptance, it hasn't come through the House Republicans.
It's from the Bush administration. The Bush administration accepts executive pay curves. That's the headline I'm receiving. You approve of that?
Okay. That's the Bush administration. So far, what we've seen is deal-making and talking behind the door with the Bush administration and Democrats behind doors. House Republicans have been kept out of those negotiations, and House Republicans have demanded to be in and let in the door. But what we're demanding, more importantly, is reform. We want to see a zero capital gains rate and a dramatic reduction in corporate taxes. We also want to see the end of the Community Reinvestment Act, and we want to see Freddie and Fannie put on the auction block, divided up and sold off. Government has to get out of being the backstop to private companies for risk. Government can't be in that business anymore.
Congressman Michele Bachmann, we thank you so much for joining us, ma'am. We do appreciate it. Right here on a big news day. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you very much.